Again, everybody, this is John Nesbitt with the Customer Factory, and I apologize. I went live a little earlier today. Hopefully, not too many people saw the oopsie because happened and there was no sound. So it was brilliant. I'm telling you, it was brilliant. It was more brilliant than you'll believe. But I deleted it, and it's all alas, it's lost to history on us now. So I'm going to pay off on this. I decided I'm not going to let technical glitches stop me here. I'm not going to let this microphone's driver go crazy and ruin things for us. I am going to tell you how to get the sticky scheduling to happen because it is important. If you've ever run paid advertising and for new patients or new business of any kind, quite honestly, you'll know that sometimes the person is a lead on your website or whatever, or they leave a voicemail for you and you go to call them back and you can't get a hold of them, or you go to schedule them and they don't show up. It's like they don't care. It's like they didn't is this bogus leads? What's wrong with this? You're very demoralizing because now you've got that big hole in your schedule, which also represents not just a wasted spot where you could have seen somebody else, but also represents a lot of wasted money because the person costs money to go and run the ads and all the wasted time to call them. And, it's nothing but a loss. And even though I'm going to tell you the dirty secret of the whole thing is the person actually still needs your help and they didn't get the help they wanted either. So everybody loses if you've got non-sticky scheduling, right? If your scheduling is slippery, got holes in it, everybody loses. So I'm going to show you in this video some of the best tips and tricks I know how you can fix that right now. If you've got problems scheduling folks, in a few minutes, you will have less of a problem scheduling them because I'm going to give you some of this information in such a way as you can immediately improve what you're doing. Okay. So first of all, I want to talk about third-party scheduling. This is something that you see out there. People will basically hire an outside agency or their marketing agency or somebody will do this for them. And I found that that's not a great solution across our network where clients have tried it, especially at volume. It's not a great solution. I'm going to tell you why. First of all, it's born out of ignorance. It's born out of the problem that the reason a practitioner, a practice owner turns over a vital thing like scheduling to a third party is because they simply had no idea how to solve the problem themselves. If they knew how to do good scheduling in-house, internally with a person you can train and have right there and observe right there, no one would ever turn that over because scheduling is the part that it's the outward facing look of your practice. It is the reputation of your practice. When someone calls in to your office and they think they're getting you, but they're actually getting the third party scheduling group, whoever it is, now your entire practice reputation is based on how well that person does representing you. Now, they may never have been in your practice. Odds are they've never been into your practice. They've never seen, and they can't answer simple questions such as, are you down? Oh, great. Are you next to the shoe store? Are you next to the grocery store? They don't know, and they're going to kind of seem stupid, right? Which makes you seem stupid. The public is going to think that is you. And that is usually a low-paid person at a company you don't control, trained by people you don't know, and not corrected or overseen by you. So it's really dodgy. So just that's my pitch against. Like, here's the thing: good scheduling is not hard to do. It is actually a very simple skill set. You can give it to almost anybody if you know what you're doing. And I'm going to give you a big leg up on that right now because you should do it. You should control it and have it within your own office. It is super easy and it really, really pays off to have a good scheduler, and you can grow one from scratch. You don't have to hire some magical scheduler. You can literally train a person if you know what to do. And actually, all this comes out of a story from when, about maybe 5-6 years ago, we were running ads for a bunch of clients as we do at the company here, right? And we noticed one client had gotten, a fair number of leads. Another one got a fair number of leads. And this one over here was thrilled. This client was thrilled. He was like, yeah, I got 39 new patients or whatever. It's some big number. He's super happy. Another guy, similar situation, running the same campaign. We know it's the same campaign because we're running the same campaign for these guys. And this guy got one or two people, and the leads are crap. Then one, yeah, no, yeah. It's like, well, what is the difference here? So we went and looked into it and realized that not only did the front desk person at this guy who didn't do well, had never been trained on how to schedule, right? And when I looked in a little further, I found out that the practice owner himself didn't really know how to train them. So we, in that whole evaluation, we realized that practice owners aren't just born with this ability to how to schedule people. It's like any other skill. It's something you can acquire and then produce in others. So what I did is I went out and I looked for the people who have really high schedule and show up rates, guys who have like a 95% of the new patient leads arrive into their office, at least there for the first consult, right? At least arrived in the office. And these people have these huge numbers. I interviewed 3 of these folks who have these kind of numbers. And I asked not the practice owner, but I actually asked the front desk person who was doing the work. The person was actually on the phone. what it is they did. And they gave me some super juicy nuggets that I'm going to share with you on how they actually got people to show up. I later on went to put this into a whole course that we actually give away to our clients because, we need to make sure that our clients do well with the leads that we provide for them, right? So anyway, I'm going to get into some of these. So I'm going to cheat just a little bit and use a slide show that some slides from a recent webinar that I did. Let me get this on the screen here. There we go. And I had given them 4 other pillars. I'll let you wonder what those 4 other pillars were. This was pillar number 5 of the presentation. Of course, getting people in, because advertising is essentially worthless if nobody shows up, right? I mean, if at the end of the day, someone's got to show up and buy something from you. Otherwise, you're just kind of making pretty pictures on the internet for stuff, right? So let's talk about this. So the first people barrier you're going to run into when you've got web-based leads, there's basically 2 kinds of leads, by the way, that come in from the internet. There's people who call you directly, hopefully on a tracked phone line, so you can count the number of calls that are coming in from your ads, but they call you directly for an appointment. These are the greatest. They are wonderful. These are the guys who are the highest motivated, and they just call you now. They're going to appoint, and they're going to have a pretty high show-up rate from those guys, although you still have to do a lot of this to make sure they do show up. In our experience, about a third of our leads that we generate for clients, the new patient appointment requests that we generate for our clients, are phone leads. So people just called in on the phone during business hours and set an appointment. That is beautiful. That's got phone handling, has to be good on it though. Otherwise those can slip away from you. The other 2/3 are web leads, people who filled out a form on the internet and said, yes, I want an appointment, please contact me, and hit submit, right? And now they're waiting for you to contact them. All right. So when you go to call them back from a voicemail or from that sort of web thing, it's very common to have the problem that you called them back. Like say the lead came in 5 minutes ago. The person, you ran your ads, the person went to your page, they said yes, and they filled out the form on the page. They hit submit. It comes into your text or your email, and you go, oh my gosh, great. And you immediately get them on the phone because you're supposed to act fast, by the way. Don't let those suckers cool off. These leads go bad in a matter of minutes. But the longer it goes, the harder it is to get the person in. And that time is measured in minutes, maybe hours, and after days, it can be almost impossible to get the person in because they've moved on, found somebody else, right? But anyway, so you do the first thing, you get on the lead right away, just like you're supposed to, right? You're ready, you call them up immediately, and it rings and rings and goes to voicemail. Like, what the hell? The hell, right? Was this person kidding you? Was it a joke? Were they not that serious? What is going on? And you see this frustration all the time with folks. And I'm going to give you the tip right now, and it's going to ring true, I think, because it's pretty true for most folks. Is these days people don't pick up unfamiliar numbers. Now, back when I was a kid, when the phone rang, we had one phone line, we had one phone. And when the phone rang, oh my gosh, my sister and I would just jump over the furniture and trip over the dog and whatever we had to do to get the phone first. Who could answer the phone the fastest, right? Yeah, hello, that is no longer the case. Now people get phone calls, and if they don't recognize the number, most people don't pick up. Straight up. Some people are adventurous and they will, but most people don't. You get spam calls and things like that. People just learn if it's not my contact, I'm not answering it. Don't worry. It could be somebody creepy. I don't want to do that. So they don't do that, right? That's most of your people, right? So how do you overcome this? It is super simple, super simple. You text them first and then you call them. It's super easy. So what happens is you get the lead in and you text the person, says, hey, Mr. Jones, this is Dr. So-and-so's office calling about that appointment you wanted. I'll be calling you in 5 seconds. 10 seconds, right? I'll call you in just a minute. And then you wait, and then you call them, and they'll tend to pick up. This will get about half the people on the phone for you the first try. This is pretty smooth. So if you're having that trouble right there, that's automatically, this one thing right there should take you up quite a notch. Have the discipline to text them first and then call them. And then now they know who's calling. Now they're much, much more likely to answer the phone. And once you get someone on the phone, I mean, that's the prerequisite for scheduling somebody. You actually have to talk to them, right? So this gets you actually talking to them. Now let's talk about the next part. The next part's pretty important too. Once you've got them on the phone, or they've called in, or you've called and reached them, you've established two-way communication with them. You're there. What do you do? Okay. So here's how you see 80% of all your leads from marketing. And I think you really should aim for like 90, 95%. But with our clients, if they're seeing 80%, we're like, okay, you're doing fine. No correction needed. If you're doing less than 80%, your scheduler has to go do the course again, right? All right. So here's how you get at that. First of all, on this phone call, the patient must feel that it's friendly, professional, and safe, which means Friendly means the person on the phone has to seem friendly and knowledgeable and professional and like it's in a safe place this person's going to. Again, this is another hit at those third-party schedulers. They're not always friendly. Sometimes they're in a hurry. Sometimes they're not that professional, right? Sometimes they don't give the right impression, so the scheduling, the person might schedule and just never show up because one of these things was violated. And these 3 words, by the way, come directly from the market research on why would you keep, what factors make you want to choose one office over another one, right? So once you've got that concept in mind, now there's 2 other things here, and I put them both in the same sentence here. They must value the appointment, scarcity, and be excited to meet the doctor, authority. So let me break this down. First part is scarcity. Scarcity means it's rare. It's hard for them to get. If you have them on the phone and you just say, the person says, well, when, I'd like an appointment, you say, okay, well, I'm open all week. We got all day tomorrow, the day after, and all the way through next Wednesday, whenever you want to come in, it's wide open, right? That gives the person the wrong impression. One, nobody goes there. Like, wow, why are you wide open? This is a brand new practice. What is this? And 2, they know that if they schedule something for, say, Friday at 10, and they don't feel like coming in, well, they know they can get a no one next Tuesday because you got all these appointments open. It's easy to get in and see you, right? It's no problem. Right? Always a table open to that restaurant. Not a problem, right? What you need to do is create a little scarcity. So and this is just all on how you word things. Say, okay, Mr. Jones, I think we can get you in for an appointment. Look, I have a spot open actually this afternoon at 3:30. If you can do that, that'd be best. Can you do that? Well, no, I can't. That's too short. Okay. I got one tomorrow at 9. After that, it might be a couple of weeks. Can you make to this afternoon or tomorrow? No, I can't do either one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, hold on. And you put them on hold for a second. You kind of say, okay, I got something for Friday afternoon at like 4:30. How about that? Oh, yes, I can do that. Okay, good. Thank you so much for working me into the schedule, they say, right? So now that appointment is valuable. They don't know for sure they can get another one super easy. So it makes it scarce, makes it valuable. When it's scarce and valuable, it means they're going to show up, right? Another thing that the front desk should do during the call is when they're talking to the person, finding out, well, why do you want to come see us? And I want to come in because I've got a sciatica or where the person's complaint is, right? They've got to talk the doctor up. Oh, that's awesome. Dr. So-and-so here, he is wonderful with this kind of thing. We see success with that all the time. You should just see the success stories on the walls about people like that. You are so lucky. He's actually studied very specifically on this. People come from miles around to see him for this exact problem that you've got. It's amazing, right? So now the doctor has authority. Think of what that means when you're walking in to do your consult. The person is like, meeting the semi-celebrity doctor, right? To them, like, this is the guy who's the authority, instead of just being a cold meeting, right? That helps out your closing, because your closing of care packages starts with the word hello when the person first calls, when you first make contact again, all right? And then, of course, one way you make sure this goes in is you have scripts and use role playing to train your schedule. So do write down, how do you want questions answered? How do you want, when someone asks, do you take insurance? How do you want that answered? There are several answers to that question, and you want to make sure they give it to you, right? They're not thrown off by it. When they ask different questions, you want to have these scripted out so that your scheduler is leading the conversation, is never thrown off their game, and it always keeps it moving forward, right? And then how do you get a script used? You do role playing. Easy. So we do 15 minutes of role playing every morning. You have the office manager and the front desk just get together, and they go back and forth pretending to be patients for a while, calling in until they get their scripts really down. You do that for a few weeks, and people are going to be really good on their scripting. You do it every time your show up rate or your schedule rate goes down. You put in more drilling and more scripting. Okay. Another great tool is to have recorded calls. So you can just hear them back. You'll be amazed. The calls are different when you're not listening to them and when you're not there. Sometimes they slide. Sometimes people get put on hold for a long period of time. Sometimes things happen that you don't realize, or questions come up that just kind of get brushed over. When you listen to the recorded calls, especially when you have the scheduler sitting next to you and you listen to the recorded calls, that's a great training tool right there. People will correct very easily. And then one of my favorite things to do is secret shopper calls, which is basically having a friend or somebody else call in and pretend to be a patient. And then, ask all the hard questions and see how they do, see what answers they get. All right. If you do these kinds of things, you will see, I say you really could see an 80% show up rate or higher. Really, like I say, I'd go for 90 or 95% because that's the kind of thing that makes advertising work. If you can make this skill work in your office, you can do almost any kind of marketing successfully, because it's sticky. It actually creates the value out of the person. When someone is just a lead, that's just a lead. They're just interested. This process here, as simple as it is, converts that lead into an interested person who's now sitting in front of you, ready to be educated so that you can get them into care. And that is the valuable thing right here. That is the last mile, the last piece that gets the person in, but is actually one of the most important ones. And it's the one I think you should endeavor to master if you want to do well. Because conversely, if you can't get this right, almost no marketing program will work for you. I mean, you can get people, basically it's harder and harder to stuff people through there. It gets harder and harder to be profitable from it. So take the time to measure the scheduling skill. And it's so much easier to be successful. You don't really find very many big practices that don't have this absolutely wired. Find someone who's got $1 million practice, and I'll show you a guy who's got a whole drawer full of scripts somewhere. Right? That's how this works. Anyway, so thanks for sticking with me on this video. I know it's the second try because I had a little audio issues in the first try. So thank you very much for doing that. And if you have any questions or whatever, let me know. By the way, if you want your marketing handled and you want access to the course that we actually give, we have all our clients. I have a 4-hour course, a 3 or 4 hour course that I made using this and a bunch of other important things that I learned on scheduling. Stuffed it all in one course, and I make it free for our clients because I want to make sure you're always successful with your marketing, especially with us, right? So if you're interested in that, just drop by the website, thecustomerfactory.com, and that will you can always schedule an appointment with us. And oh, by the way, I didn't even tease this at the beginning. Hey, this is going to be a benefit for someone who stuck around. If you stuck around later on in the video, this is going to be a little bonus. I didn't even mention this earlier on. If you go here, I'm going to pop this up on the screen. You can download something I call the Perfect Call Script. If you just go to customerfactory.com/PDFs, you can download, there's a free download there called the Perfect Call Script. It'll get you going on your scripting. It's a good starting spot. It's not you got to customize it for your use, but it gives you some really good basics there on how to schedule and schedule well. Okay, good. That all said, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.